Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and mostly I did it because I've never been there, and it was a free dinner, and all I had to do was listen to a finance guy for an hour.
Yeah.
Had a wonderful steak. It was amazing. But yeah, I've listened to a lot of finance people give their spiel because I worked in the business for a little over a year and took notes and all that. And he said something different that hit way different for me than I've heard anyone else. And it kind of goes back to how you sit there and talk about find the person's why. But he was talking about purpose. He was, because it was all, I was the youngest person there, being 45. These are all old people drawing Social Security. But
Huh.
he rather than talking about finance and the money, his sole purpose was, I want to find out what your purpose is. What is your purpose? What gets you up during the day? And that got me thinking about what is my purpose? What gets me up? And the obvious answer being my daughter,
Yeah.
but it's really to help others out. And it just kind of turned things in my head of how I see things. I had to get out of the why and more find a purpose for it. And so I think if we look at helping people with their purpose, which is to me is a little bit bigger than the why. Um, when they're looking at homes, that might it may make an effect like it did on me.
Got it. Yeah, I mean that's the big deal is people's why. And it's not that you're doing anything deceptive. Just want you to guys realize that. What he's talking about is finding the why. It's to this buyers and sellers benefit. They want to know that you believe in them. They want to know you believe in what they're after and that you're here. So finding their why for us is finding their goals. What's their goals, their dreams, their aspirations, everything that they're wanting to do in life, and how can we help them reach that goal? It's an amazing opportunity you have in people's lives. And if you change your mindset, and do I have Jeff DeLeo on here? I don't think he's jumped in yet. So I was going to give a shout out to Jeff DeLeo for jumping in. I had a great call with him this morning. And one of the main things we talked about was understand the responsibility that we have to reach out to these people. They're struggling in life, they're going through something in life that maybe we have a chance to help them through. You never know what someone's going through in their life. It's difficult. It's really, truly difficult what they're going through. You don't know. And if you didn't take the time to get to know them a little better and to find out what it is they're going through, you're failing people. Contact sport means we get the opportunity to contact people. We get it. We get an amazing opportunity to be able to contact people each and every day and to check in on their life story. Like, really think about your true job. It's literally just checking in on people and making sure they're, seeing what's going on in their life, what's their heartache, what's their struggles, what's their excitements, new babies, things like that, new grandchildren, maybe a new addition to the family because their daughter got married or their husband got married, or I'm sorry, their son got married. We get this good, crazy opportunity to be able to celebrate people. The cool part about it is that when they have a big opportunity to buy their first home or recommend you to somebody, that's the repercussion of it, that we actually get to help them with that too. What a cool thing we have, right? It's pretty awesome. It's way awesome. So yeah, thanks, Paul. I mean, just you got out of your comfort zone, went to a random meeting and learned a lot. Did you meet some people? Did you end up picking up some new people for your to follow up with and check in with?
I met a couple of old guys that were retired. One of them lives here, but in the summertime lives in Baja California or
Hmm.
Baja, Mexico. I was like, oh, that's cool. But I've got an actual meeting with the person putting it on. Um, because I'm always interested in ways that I can utilize my money. But then I also thought of it'd be a good opportunity to get my name out there and be able to, hey, is there a way that we can work together in the future and such. Um, so it was good, but it was just more of the perspective of things because I'd been looking at things kind of wrong, I think, and just looking for my own purpose. But um, I also got five new leads on Monday, and I've contacted three of them now,
Wow.
and that's been awesome, just actually going out there and doing the work. And that's, I think, my biggest stumbling block has been is I don't want to just go and call a bunch of people, and sometimes you kind of you have to. um so yeah, we'll see what comes out of the out of
Cam-
it.
Cambria, Can you go in the box in that other room and bring me one of the books that's next to the dresser in the front reading room? There's a box on the ground. It's one of, yes. Can you bring me one of those books? Because I want to talk about that. And it's right in line with what Paul's talking about right now. Building new people, adding new people to the database, following up with them, checking in with them. I want to jump into something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and this is probably going to be a bit of a shift on what our coaching call is going to start shifting to, is more about what you do. You guys know I love the Lord. You know I love God, and I really, really, really want to make sure we're choosing to treat what you do as more than just, thank you, darling, appreciate it, as more than just more than just buying and selling houses. If you're focused on buying and selling houses, you're going to run out of steam really fast. It's fun, right? Buying and selling houses is fun. That is a great opportunity, is what we strive to do. But if that's your focus and your focus is the next escrow instead of the next relationship, you're going to run out of escrows really fast because that's a lag measure. We call that a lag measure. It's not a lead measure. So as we have business planning clinic next week, guys, don't forget that's next week. Business planning clinic on Wednesday. This same link for those of you that are not in Central California will be the link. I'm going to have a microphone on my shirt. I'm going to make sure the speakers all have microphones on their shirt. It's going to be live. So next week, if you look at this coaching call, I extended it out. It's actually much longer. I actually made it from 10 o'clock to noon. So it's 3 hours long. There's going to be some breakouts in between, some people talking that if you're online, just bear with them, take a break, go grab coffee in between. But there's three big speakers. Well, I say three speakers. They may not be big. One of them's me, so I'm just going to speak to you from my heart. But Matt Morgan's going to be there to talk about life, fitness, mindset. He's a fitness coach. He does so much. So you're going to really like him. Matt Morgan's going to be there, and he'll have a mic. You'll get to hear him. I'll have a camera set up, so you'll get to see him and hear him loud and clear, those of you on Zoom. Number two is going to be Jenny Madrid, Jenny Uola. She's going to be there speaking on time management and going deep into time management. Number three is me. I'm going to jump into the lead measure side of things and the lag measure side of things and what you should be focusing on each and every day, and giving you content-based stuff like that you can be adding to that 135 business plan for 2026. Those of you that are on my team have already started this, but I suggest you go because there's going to be more and more stuff going on. So um, that's the fun part about next week. So with that though, on this coaching call, a lot of you have seen this, some of you have read it. Thank you for reading it. Thank you. Oh, don't want to do that. Thank you for jumping in there and reading it. We're going to jump into a chapter today of this. And it has a lot to do with what your ministry is. What is your ministry? What is your why? What is your why versus what's the agent's why? I'm sorry, what the buyer or seller's why is. In this case, let's talk about Colossians 3:23 to 24. And 23 is whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, just like you're working for the Lord, not for human masters. So you're not doing it for this world, the worldly world. Since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward, it is the Lord Christ you're serving. In real estate, customer service isn't just part of the job, it's the heart of the business. It's what we do as customer service. We're serving people, we're serving the community, and then right there it says each interaction with a client, whether it's a simple question or a complicated transaction, it's an opportunity to serve others and honor God through your work. One is that I just want to make sure that what is it you're doing here? What is your big why? Knowing your big why, like Paul was talking about, knowing your big why. Why are you doing this? What's going to lead you through long term? If you have short-term success goals, you're going to burn out. If you have long-term success goals, which that's, how many new relationships, just think about where you'll be in 5 years. The 5-year business plan is an important thing to work on. And that's to set out, okay, so now I've got the short term, 1 year, And this is how many relationships I'm planning to win over and beat and get to know new people and new lives and, more barbecues, more going out, meeting them and spending time with them. I had a chance to go with one of my closing clients 5 days ago. Had a chance to go and actually it was Saturday, and they had an open house in their brand new house. And guess who got the invite? I did. So exciting. I got to go to their house and spend time with them. And now what am I doing? I'm there. I'm meeting new people. I'm talking to their family members, spending time with their family members. It's a great thing to do. Some agents actually throw that party for them when they buy a new house. And that way they get to meet more of their family members and get to they basically become part of the family. And that's how I have. I've kind of become part of the family with this family and got a chance to spend some time with them on a Saturday at a barbecue. There was great smoked meat there too. It was so good. Lots of good food. And that's what it's all about. It's about meeting new people, creating new relationships. You become part family. So it needs to be somewhat of a ministry. Now, with that, as a realtor, we can make really good money. But I'll tell you that a lot of deals I've done pro bono or for, got 1%, really low, just enough to cover my expenses. And that's okay because then I get to help them again in the future. Or they give me a referral, help a family member. I mean, that it needs to be your ministry. It needs to be, in your DNA that this isn't just about buying and selling real estate. It's about relationships because that you can take with you all the way into eternity. Those relationships will be with you in eternity where the close of escrow you close next month. That's not. But the relationship, the people will be. So what's your why? Why are you doing this? Tell me yours. Love to hear about it. What is your why? What's your reason? What's going to drive you through long term doing what you're doing? I got Juan on here. I got Michael on here.
I'll
Stacy.
share mine.
Yeah, please.
So about a year ago, I got involved with an investment group, and I had been really working on, as a dietitian, really working on ramping up a program that I designed that was a Bible-based nutrition program. And so this investment group completely derailed me from what I thought I was called to do. And as I was filling out the paperwork for this investment group, I opened up my computer and there was a video, an Instagram video of a guy, a health guy that I follow. And it was a drone footage of community gardens, urban community gardens. And prior, just right before that, I said, I don't know, God, what this whole real estate thing means. I don't fully understand. And then I opened my laptop and there's this video and I still don't understand, but I do see that there's a purpose of some type of a community garden. And
Hmm.
what I know from a nutrition standpoint, and then the real estate is the land piece of it. And like I said, I don't know what it is, but I know that I have the ability to give back to the community through some type of an urban garden. And then when that door opens, I'll be ready.
Wow. Stacy, that's amazing. I mean, so basically you felt a bit of a calling from the Lord to lead you to where you're at today, to lead
Yeah.
you.
And the doors just keep opening. So it's like, I'll keep walking through them as long as they open. And if they close, I know that's not the door. So
Mm,
it's been quite a journey.
wow. Yeah, the doors just keep opening. So, that's what it's got to be. It's got to be something powerful like that. Stacy, thank you for sharing. That's awesome. Being led, listening to what the Lord's wanting you to do. I've always had a feeling in real estate that I've just always enjoyed it. I've always wanted to do it from the first realtor I ever met. And he was wearing if I remember right, he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt. It was a new construction and he just looked so chill and kicked back and just relaxed. And you think in real estate, how could he feel relaxed? This is a stressful job. It can be a stressful job. But you choose what you want, and you realize that there's things that could bother you and things that, we've got to just realize there's no fires in real estate. We'll get through it. And we're helping people through difficult times. Some people are struggling. There's divorce situations they're going through, short sales, foreclosure potentials, and it can be really stressful, both to you and to the client. But feeling that calling like that, like being led to a really opportunity to do this. And, then you just know that you got to do what when it's not working so fast as you thought it would, and you're not paying the bills. And what do you got to do? God says, be still, be quiet, listen. He's got a plan for you. It doesn't mean that God says, sit on your hands and don't call more people and check in on more of his people. He doesn't say that. He does say, I got this though. And yeah, sometimes we got to go get another job. That doesn't mean that, we're going to quit what we're doing. Because if you do, because I've seen a lot of people do that, go get another job and then they quit what they're doing. And but they felt led to do this, and they went through a lot of work. The testing is not easy to get there. Don't quit. I worked another job for many years as a realtor until I was scared to quit, and it was making enough money to feed my family, but I was meeting more people. But the thing was, is every relationship, every person I talked to on the phone, it wasn't hard for me to have a conversation because I wasn't being salesy ever. When you're working another job, you don't have to be as salesy ever if the bills are being paid or if you have another source of income. And so I was working another job and I didn't have to ever be salesy. I could just be myself. Didn't have to be salesy, didn't have to try to sell people on stuff. All I had to do is just be myself and ask them what it is they need. And they wanted to tell me. I wasn't a threat. I wasn't some salesman on the other side. Now, we talk about online leads. That's a whole other ministry in of itself because you got to get them to put their wall down enough to trust that you're not a solicitor. And so we have different rules, and we call them speed the lead. We call them 10 days of pain, 9 to 12 times before you can consider it a dead lead. And we don't like to call them dead leads because they're not dead. They're still there. They still have a situation, but maybe what they're going through in their life is beyond this simple phone call. And are we being selfish by stopping? In a way, we might be. We can justify that. Then maybe we're just being a little selfish by stopping when they really needed to talk to us. And when you leave your messages, are your messages scripted? Or are your messages, hey, just a helper. I know that you're interested in that property over there, or I know you did kind of a search or whatever it is they called you about initially. And thank you for jumping in our website. It's really for you. It's for you to be able to see what's going on without the threat of big companies like Zillow and Realtor.com, and potential to selling your information. Your information is not sold. It's literally you're hanging out with me and my own personal web page that's connected to the MLS, so it gives you full access to mine. I'm glad you've been enjoying it. I'm glad you've been using it. Please give me a call back. I'd love to just hear your story. Or I would love to hear what you're looking for. I would love to be able to help you buy a house. Let me help you. Do you know, I really need you to call me back. Or am I asking them, hey, I'd love to just hear your story. I'd love to hear what you're going through, what I can do to help. And there's always something that maybe you might need. I can tighten it up and round up that search for you a little bit, make it a little tighter. Be yourself, talk yourself, be you. Don't be salesy. And those online leads, they're difficult to convert. They will. And what are we converting them to? Remember? Another relationship, another opportunity.
That's pretty powerful. One of the first leads I've had, I was kind of going through them, and I actually I prayed before I started doing this, and one stood out. Her last name was Paul, and I was like, oh, okay, well that's kind of cool. And then when I clicked on it, her phone number comes from my old neighborhood back in
Oh,
California.
wow.
So
Huh.
I'm like, all right, so there's I can talk to her about something. And I called her and she actually answered. And right away, I kind of went into my own thinking and not going along with the scripts or, guidelines with the scripts and just, okay. And she was, oh, I'm not really interested. My daughter is out there, but I've got another kid here and just kind of blowing it off. And then I started thinking about, I have a servant's heart. I want to help people. That's why I was in law enforcement as long as I was, and
Mm,
I'm not done helping people. And that's hard. The hard part about my purpose is I feel like, okay, what am I? I'm not fulfilling this need to help others. And so I just get to talking to her, and I had a 35-minute conversation with her. Found out that she's heavily involved with her church. They do a lot of community stuff together, and so we got to talking about potential ways that we could help each other just with service. And she's stuck there right now. She's in between because she has a granddaughter there that needs certain medical condition or medical services that they're not sure that they can get here in Idaho. Um, but she once her granddaughter gets older, then that set of her kids want to move here to Idaho so they can be closer to her other daughter here. And so it's one of those things where I'm right away, I know, okay, this isn't a person I'm calling every day, every 2 weeks. So I've got her, I'll reach out once a month, just with a text message or an email or whatever. But she wants to meet up for coffee the next time I'm in town. And it was just one of those things where we completely just had a great conversation, had made a connection, and she got to hear what I'm about, where I came from. um just a lot of that, to where who knows, maybe it'll be the perfect situation where, oh yeah, you're looking to move to Idaho. I know a realtor that isn't doing this just for the money, isn't doing this to make themselves rich, to make other people money. It's truly just to be able to serve others.
Yeah. Wow. Man, Paul, you're nailing it. I love it. That's so good. So good. You guys, these are stories that, you know, they're only getting themselves into these situations because they're taking their a chance. And Paul's getting himself in some good situations there that are bringing opportunities. And that's what you got to do. You got to get uncomfortable, get yourself into some of those situations. So good. If you do, watch the magic. Watch what happens. So good. And I want to encourage you, some of you guys that are on here, like Michael Navarro, Juan, Vilene, Thalia, just remember, like, I can sit there and jump on a three-way call with Stacy and Paul and have a one-on-one. This is coaching call, and which means you're all going through something. And if you show me your screen and we talk together and we help together, we're going to find that we're going to be so much better on this coaching call as moving forward in the future. So I appreciate, choose to be here. I love it. But when you choose to be here, choose to block this time out. Be in front of a computer, ready to coach, ready to have some one-on-one. Don't just come here. You can't put that much pressure on me. I'm not that good of a coach that I can guess what you're going through in life. I need you to show your picture. I need you to speak up. I need you to be with us and be present. And if you do that, I promise you there'll be a return on your investment. If you can invest that time into me on these calls on Wednesday, I can promise you a return on your investment that I'll give you back any info I can give you. We'll work together through your problems. We'll work together. And your problems may be just simply, I had a bad week this last week. This is what happened. And let's talk about how you're going to do it different this week. We'll talk about metrics. We'll talk about different things. And so, but be present with me, please, on these calls. And that's how I can be really productive. Don't just come on here, expect Sean's going to say something cool, because I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail. I'm not that cool, guys. You're not going to get content from me every week. I do these for free and I do them for you. I don't get paid to do these. I don't get paid anything to do these. So it's for you. So choose to be present with me. I really appreciate it. It'll help me a ton to help you do more. So view customer service as a calling. Treat customer service as a calling. You must adopt servant's mindset. Remember, you need to serve. You're serving people. When you make your calls in the morning, if you're saying, I don't want to make these calls, and instead you say, yes, I get to make these calls. I'm telling you, affirmations work. Don't short yourself by saying they don't work, because they do. 99.9999% of this job is mindset. Seriously. It's having that right mindset. It's adopting the right mindset and getting your day scheduled to say, hey, these customer service calls are because I get to do them. I get to make them. I get to do them. It's a fun thing. And it's going to, right here, it says transform each transaction from a financial exchange to a relational experience. I mean, it's relational experience. I get to do it. I get to do this. It's so much fun. An essential part of viewing customer service as a ministry is being aware of the emotional journey each client goes through. We talked about that a second ago, about how each one of these people are going through some crazy emotional journey, and we get to go along with them through it. But if you don't find out the why and why they're doing this and what their goals are and dreams are and why they're wanting to buy a house, holy mackerel, we're holding ourselves back from having the opportunity of really truly helping somebody through a really fun situation or difficult situation. It doesn't matter, but we're getting to help them. And the only way is you got to find that big why. It needs to be a ministry. Seriously, it needs to be fun. All right, what are some steps? Active listening as a foundation of service. One of the biggest problems with a lot of people is we don't know how to be quiet. All right, and hear them out. Ask questions, wait for a response to the question. Ask questions instead of giving too many statements. Occasional statement you have to do, but remember, question-based selling. It's a book, okay? I'm always giving you books. Question-based selling is a real thing for a reason because we've got to ask questions and not just take over the conversation and give statements over and over and over again. We got to listen and hear what they're going through in their life. So if we just start jumping in there and telling them how we went through that, they're going to look at that as a little more guarded. Well, we didn't. I was starting to tell you about what I'm going through, and here you're telling me that you know exactly what I'm going through. You may know exactly, and there may be a time in your conversations to explain your experience in it, but hear them out. Active listening is so important. Hear what people are going through in their life, and that way we can get in there and help them where they're at. And it may not be selling real estate, guys. It may not be. It might be helping them find a renter that you may not get paid on. It might be helping them do something that's going on, or maybe they're struggling spiritually, and you can get to bring them closer to God, and that's what God planned for you in that situation. We don't know, but you're gonna find out if you listen and ask questions. Every interaction begins with listening. This doesn't mean just hearing the words, but truly understanding their needs, fears, and aspirations. Ask open-ended questions like, "What's your biggest hope for this move? What is your biggest hope? What are you really hoping to get out of this? What concerns you most about the process?" Have you ever asked that question? What concerns you most about this process? What concerns you? Like, they've got a concern. They're scared. If they've never done it before. Even if they've done it before. I just bought another investment property a couple days ago. I was nervous. I was nervous about closing on it, but I kept shutting my brain off like I've done this before, I've done this before. It doesn't matter how many times they've done it, it's expensive and it's a scary thing. And so you got to ask that question, what concerns you about the process? If you don't ask the question, you're not going to find an answer. They're open. Okay, these questions open the door to meaningful conversations. It's just gonna be amazing what you find out when you start asking good questions and listening. Show clients that you're listening by summarizing their concerns. We call this parroting, like a parrot. You're repeating what they said, which means you're validating what they said. Validate them so that way it connects you better. I do this so often, guys. Like they'll say something, I'll be like, "So what you're saying is blah 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 blah." And if they tell me, "No, no, 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 what I'm saying is this." "Oh, got it. So it's this." And I repeat it again to make sure we validated our situation, we validated what we're going through, and we're now connected. It really will solidify that relationship when you repeat what they say and validate what they're going through. It shows that you have the attention to detail not only builds trust, but also reassures clients that their needs are prioritized. Basically, you're connecting with them, you've validated them, you've got that connection, and then you can move on to the next thing. And now you've got that why, and now you've got them feeling that you understand them. They want to know you understand. All right. All right. What else we got? Eileen, thank you for showing your picture. You are amazing. Thank you so much. We appreciate everything you do for us, Eileen. You're an amazing person. Thank you. Anything you're going through that maybe we can talk about and help with? Looks like you're already unmuted, but maybe you aren't. Nope, you're not. There you go.
There we go. I am having the hardest time. I mean, obviously we talked about dead leads where obviously they're just not picking up after you've tried and tried and tried. So and I know I need to get these over to Hugo. You've mentioned this many, many times, but I just need to do that. I have probably 20 some leads where it's just like they don't pick up. And so that's just been heavy on my mind that I need to set up a plan and get it in my calendar to send them video messages
Oh, good. Mhm.
and get them over to Hugo after that. So it's just me mentally. I need to get that done.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of these people are getting calls from multiple people, right? And they're probably getting calls from too many people. Getting them back to Hugo, let him call them is definitely a good thing to do. But for you, thinking about it for a minute, like, okay, what have I, let's do a process of elimination. What have I done? What have I not done? Let's think about this. What have I not tried yet? Because that one thing that you haven't tried, a lot of times will be the one thing that they finally gets them on the phone. And that could, like you said it a minute ago, video is huge. That could be one, right? It could be video. It could be searching and seeing where they live and doing a random door knock and saying hi. Maybe they live locally. If they do, that's a big one. And there are only 20 of them, so I can hit, if I searched all their addresses and I'm able to find where they live, and I can just kind of sneak by and say, "Hey, my name is Vilene. I'm in the neighborhood, just checking in, introducing myself, seeing everyone. I'm a local realtor here. Just wanted to say hi," but you're kind of not saying, and let them say, "Oh, I think you called me a few times." Yeah, sorry, we've just been busy. That's what ends up happening. We've just been so busy. We do need to make this move, but it hasn't been a priority. And now you're able to find out a little more about them. But doing trying to find out by eliminating what I've done, what I haven't done. And that way you can, and it might take doing a little research to find out what you can do to try to get a hold of somebody. That's a simple Google search or a simple search on YouTube to say, what are ways to get a hold of a client that has not answered the phone? I mean, a simple search like that, and try to see what comes up. That way you can try to find some things that maybe you haven't tried yet. If they're getting calls from multiple people, that's where leaving a message consistently saying, "Hey, just to remind you, I'm a helper, not a hurt. I'm not a solicitor. I'm a real person. I live right here. I'm here locally, just live, for you, just live south of Boise, southeast Boise, or whatever. I just live over here, and, I'm local. I just want you to know I'm a helper. Um, Still here when you need me. Just give me a call back. Let me know. Shoot me a text. Totally understand if you're tied up and busy, but would love to just chat with you for a minute." And something simple, and then you consistently left that type of message. Or here's another one that someone's used that's worked really well. 5 phone calls in one day without leaving a message. Just all of a sudden, rapid fire. 1, call them back right away, no answer. 2, don't leave a message. Call them back about after lunch. 3, call them back again mid-afternoon. 4, call them back one more time at the end of the day. 5. They see that phone call, that phone number calling, but you got to have a plan when you get them on the phone. "Oh, I'm so sorry. My name's Vilene. I'm a helper, not a solicitor. You were just on my mind, and I just felt the need to reach out to you and that I needed to get a hold of you. I didn't talk about real estate at all. I used it as a ministry to just say, hey, I just felt the need that I needed to get a hold of you." Um, well, about what? Well, because, at one point in time you were showing that you might need some help in the area with some, looking at some properties, and I just wanted to be a helper and see what I could do. Oh, okay. Then it turns into something else. And we think they're going to be mad. And they might be like, "Ugh, no, I'm not buying. I don't live in Boise," and oh, okay, well, then we know that we need to mark this one as the wrong number. Oh, well, that's okay. At least we've met each other now, right? So where is it you live? Would love to hear is there anything that, you need over there? Where do you live? Because I have friends all over the place. You know, I've done that too, and people have hung up on me. And then again, I've tried other scripts and people haven't hung up on me. So you just got to play around with it a little bit. But there's different ways to do different tricks if you want to try something like that. Call, text is another one. Phone call, and then follow up with the text. And same thing, be personable, be helpful, don't be salesy. Read new scripts, find new scripts that help you be more non-salesy. It goes a long way. So, what else? Anyone else? Or anything else you have? That sounds like a big one though.
Hey, Eileen. I'm newer to cold calling for real estate. I've done it with other stuff, but one thing that I've found that I've been doing, or I just started on Monday, but I'll Google their phone number, try to find some information. Like one's a orthodontist in Utah, and then I'll put information that I find about them. And I hate AI, but I put it in AI and I ask, here's the information I have about this person. These are homes that they've clicked on, that they've looked at, or this is some conversation that I've had with the AI Alex. Can you create a quick just something to catch their attention if I send them to them in a text message or email, or if I get them on the phone or a voice message? What can I say that would most likely catch their attention with all the stuff that they've got in their life right here? Um, and I don't know. I mean, some of it seems to be working. Out of my 5 people, I've gotten a hold of 3 so far. So and that's not me. I'm not that skilled and gifted as a speaker.
No, that's a good idea. I never thought about using ChatGPT to be like, hey, give me a script and customize it with their personal information, what homes they were looking at, what their job is, and like inserting all that. I mean, yeah, I've never thought about doing that and then captivating them in a conversation after that. If they
Wow.
pick
Yeah,
up.
I use Copilot. I haven't really done much with Chat GPT, but Copilot has been learning me just more about me, whether it's through real estate, through the vision I have through real estate, or through other things that I'm working on. But it's gotten to know me, so it also, because I consistently use the same one, it creates those in a way that is consistent with who I am and what I'm trying to do. So that's kind of a cool part about it, because when I get them on the phone or I do a follow-up email or text message, they're not going to be like, "Whoa, that sounds way different than the last thing you told me or you sent me." It's very consistent.
Hmm.
And then I was just thinking, Sean, I don't know. You tell me if I speak too much, and this may be a little bit more biblical, but when you're talking about listening, and you're going into when we ask questions and really listen to them and hear what it is that they're trying to say, it made me think of the whole story of Lazarus when Jesus came up and Lazarus had passed, and he knows what he's going to do. He already knows that he's going to resurrect Lazarus, but he sees Mary and talks to Mary, and it says that he wept. He wept with her. He wept for her, even though he knew he was going to bring him back to life and that they will be whole again. He still took a moment, instead of saying, "Hey, don't worry, I got this." He took a moment and wept with her. He listened to her and acknowledged those feelings. And I just, hearing you talk about listening, it made me think of that. And I was like, wow, that's really powerful. If we just take a moment and just listen and almost put ourselves in their shoes.
Wow. Paul, preach it, man. I love it. That's so good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jesus did it, right? Even though we knew he was going to raise him, still did it. We have a very important job, guys. It's crazy important. And it is a ministry. I want you to use it like that. I want you to think about it a little different this week. Think about the active listening, like Paul just said. Think about the ways you're reaching out to these people and looking for new ways. Use systems like AI. Boy, we learned about that today. Paul, that was excellent. Enter in all their information, who they are, where they're at, what they're looking for, and come up with some scripts to call them. The thing is the scripts we provide and give, they've worked in the past. But believe it or not, like all scripts, they're all about talking and learning, and they will change and change and change. And with AI, they're going to change even more. And the way we work, the way we do things needs to be your way. But don't be afraid to invent the wheel. That's how things happen. Invent something. I'm sorry. We're not inventing the wheel, but don't be afraid to invent a new one, a new way to make a wheel work. So get out there, get uncomfortable, do some fun stuff. Get yourself uncomfortable for a purpose, your purpose, your purpose. Go get it, guys. Have a good week. It's going to be a good one. You're going to have a good one. Just change the mindset to being an opportunity you have to check in with people versus you have to do it. Ugh. No, it's an opportunity. Have fun. Have fun and do it and be consistent. Get it up there with some higher numbers. the more relationship. People need to hear from you. Have a good week, everyone.